Three friends making a web series about their town discover that their neighbors are being bitten by strange creatures and then beginning to act very weird. They decide to investigate further, only to uncover something more shocking and deadly than they could ever have imagined. Welcome to Moviesplain. In today's video, we'll be recapping a horror film called Assimilate. Enjoy the video. We see some bugs crawling on tree leaves at night. Our attention is shifted to a house nearby. A teen named Hannah is really worried. Her mom hasn't yet come home and it's almost midnight. She tries calling and leaving voicemails with no response. She is even more concerned about a bite she has on her left arm that she can't explain. She is startled by a huge thudding sound coming from the front of her house. She looks out the window and sees that an intruder has entered the yard and is running towards the front door. She manages to shut and lock the door before the woman can get in. This doesn't stop the intruder. It only manages to infuriate her. She bangs on the door extremely hard while screaming at the top of her lungs. After she fails to get it open, she runs around the yard in a frenzy, looking for a way in. Hannah attempts to call 911, but is halted by the chilling reminder that she left the back door open. She gets to the door and gets it closed and locked in time. The woman then repeatedly bangs on the door until the glass shatters and propels at Hannah, forcing her to the ground. Best friends Zach Henderson and Randy Foster record a video tour of their town, Moulton, Missouri, which they upload to their channel called The Zach and Randy Show on a video sharing site called Vid2. They plan to go under the radar and record their day-to-day experiences using portable Bluetooth cameras that they will each wear. While recording, they are interrupted by the cheerful Pastor Greg, who invites them to partake in a singing event for teens. At the church, they politely decline. They meet one of the neighbors, Mrs. Bissett, outside her house. She points out that dozens of unrecognizable insects that showed up a week prior have been crawling on all the vegetation by her house. They are interrupted by a little boy's screams. His mom is pulling him across the road by his hand while he shouts, "You're not my mom." The boys greet her, but she doesn't reply, seemingly upset at her son. In a view from above, we are zoomed in to witness microscopic organisms falling from the sky onto the town. Zach and Randy also record Zach's crush, Kayla Shepard, playing soccer at their high school. She spots their cameras and inquires about them. They tell her that they've begun a web series of Moulton. Kayla introduces her father Larry, mother Beth, and little brother Joey to the boys and their potential audience. Her mom and dad are a really funny and chilled out couple. That evening, the boys are having dinner with Zach's parents. Zach's dad is a double amputee, restricted to a wheelchair, though it's never mentioned what happened to him. After dinner, they go for a walk on the soccer field when they hear someone let out a blood-curdling scream. They are drawn to Mrs. Bissett's house. Zach and Randy turn on their cameras and enter the house to find Mrs. Bissett hiding in her closet with a bloody bite on her leg. A small creature breaks through the wall and scurries outside. They follow the creature through the woods. They hide behind a tree when they realize there's a shady man standing nearby. The man then collects the creature in a container. His behavior and mannerisms are very odd, almost as if he's a robot rather than a person. He gets into a car which then drives off. The boys manage to catch a glimpse of the man's face. They notice that it's Pastor Greg. They come back to Mrs. Bissett's house to check up on her. They see from outside her window that she is distressed and crying while on the phone, so they decide to leave. Zach and Randy show their strange video to Deputy Josh Haywood. Josh dismisses the footage as a prank. He accuses them of photoshopping the creature into the video for their web series. He also says that Mrs. Bissett never called the police about the incident. Zach and Randy decide to confront Pastor Greg. They go to church and notice that it's empty. They walk down a flight of stairs into a dull hallway. They call out for Pastor Greg and he emerges from a room in which he was conducting a meeting with some townspeople. He acts very strange, still robotic, almost as if he's just a shell of his former self. The other people in the room act the same way. Pastor Greg denies being the person in the video, and then bizarrely insults both boys' families, belittling their parents by telling them all the sins their parents confessed to him. The sheriff then emerges from the room and frightens the boys away. Zach and Randy return to Mrs. Bissett, also behaving robotically. Mrs. Bissett denies being bitten by showing that her leg is fine. They claim that they have footage, but she dismisses the fact that it's her in the video. She then strangely invites them into her bedroom. They suddenly hear a loud noise coming from the room. It sounds as if someone is inside, struggling. They quickly leave. They decide to spy on her by looking through the bedroom window. They notice that a man is tied to her bed and isn't conscious. She comes into the room and stares at him. Another robotic person, unseen by them, jumps at the window, scaring them away. They show their footage to Zach's parents. Mr. and Mrs. Henderson discourage their son from getting involved in their neighbor's business. Zach and Randy analyze the footage. They identify that, from his tattoo, the man that was on Mrs. Bissett's bed is actually a boy named Dylan, the captain of the high school football team. But even stranger, the person that jumped at them from behind the window is also Dylan. Kayla then comes to Zach and Randy to tell them her father Larry is acting strangely. It's like he's been replaced by someone that's acting as him only, and his behavior is scaring her. Zach and Randy tell Kayla about the odd behavior they have witnessed throughout town. Kayla asks for help getting her brother Joey and her mom away from Larry. The three teens see additional residents behaving weirdly while walking to Kayla's house. They arrive at Kayla's house and find her dad acting very robotic. Kayla and Randy distract Larry while Zach searches for Kayla's mother Beth. Zach goes to the attic and finds a trail of dirt leading to a large pod. He also finds Joey, who is hiding from his dad. Zach tells Joey to go to his room and hide. Kayla's dad then grows impatient after Zach doesn't return. He goes upstairs to find him. Zach runs to the bathroom to make it look as though he was only using the toilet. He tries to wash the dirt off his hands and wipes it off with a towel. He goes to hide the towel in a basket, but when he opens it he finds Kayla's mother dead inside. Zach regains his composure and exits the bathroom. After Zach, Randy, and Kayla leave the house, he shows Kayla the footage. She wants to go back to get her brother, but they decide the best plan of action is to take the new footage to Deputy Holloway. Josh goes to the Shepherd house to investigate, but reverts to thinking Zach and Randy are creating a hoax when Kayla's mother appears, fine and unharmed. The three teens realize the escalating danger when they see Pastor Greg in the house alongside Joey. Kayla notices that her mother is acting strangely and accuses her of being an imposter. She leaves with the boys, thinking they can attract outside help. Zach, Randy, and Kayla try putting their footage online to expose the clone conspiracy. However, they find that their cellular signals are being jammed. The three teens go to Zach's parents for help. Before they reach the house, they hear his dad working in the barn. Zach and Randy go to the barn and tell Kayla to go to the house and look for his mom. Zach's dad is also acting strangely. He also emerges to reveal that he now has both his legs and can walk. He walks over to the barn entrance and joins a group of robotic people like himself, along with Pastor Greg. The clones trap Zach and Randy inside with two creatures. One of the creatures bites Randy. They find a pod with something moving inside of it. Out bursts Zach's mother. She lifts her head for a moment, almost sensing or searching for something. She then yells and runs into the darkness before arriving at Zach's real mother and grabs her head. Zach tries to get the clone off his mother, but it is too strong. It pushes him away and proceeds to drain the life out of his mom, killing her. It then speaks to Zach, trying to convince him that it's his real mother. Zach kills the clone by impaling it with a shovel. Kayla opens the back entrance and rescues the boys before the clones get to them. Zach, Randy, and Kayla run away and go to Deputy Josh once more, this time at his trailer in the woods. Josh lets them in and shows the teens he killed his clone after it tried to attack him. Josh now believes the danger Zach and Randy tried warning him about. The group concludes that the creatures bite humans to acquire a genetic pattern and incubate a clone. The doubles then kill the original humans to acquire their memories and identities. Randy's clone comes to Josh's trailer trying to kill Randy. A horde of clones overturns the trailer with everyone inside. The horde pulls Josh away. Randy runs into the woods to draw the doubles to him so Zach and Kayla can escape. Zach and Kayla walk robotically to blend in with the clones as they make their way to Kayla's mother's store in town. They see the clones surrounding a fire, in which all the corpses are being burnt. While Zach retrieves a van key, Kayla becomes distracted when she sees her brother Joey being brought to a nearby fire station along with the rest of Moulton's children. Kayla infiltrates a setup where replaced parents have creatures bite their children for cloning. Kayla finds her brother being led by a clone of one of her schoolmates. The clone observes her. When she looks at her brother and sees him crying, she tries to hold back her emotions, but lets out a tear. The clone realizes she's human and signals the other clones, who then capture Kayla. In the commotion, she tells Joey to run away and go wait for her at their family cabin in the woods. Joey flees while the other clones gather around Kayla. The clones hold Kayla down and set one of the creatures onto her. Zach comes to Kayla's rescue in the van. After driving away, Zach notices Kayla was bitten. He stops the van once they are far from the clones and tries to comfort her, while Zach is telling her of the plan to upload the footage at the cable network station to the rest of the world. Thousands of tiny bugs enter the van and converge. transforming into one of the creatures. It jumps at Zach and bites him, before escaping. Kayla and then Zach run after it, but it's too late. It escapes with his DNA. The sheriff's clone then arrives at the van and signals the rest of the clones. They realize they will have to walk through the bushes to the station. Along the way, Zach encounters Randy's double near a pond, while Kayla quickly hides in the bushes. He tries to convince Zach that it's really him, by recounting different memories of when they were children and explored the area. Zach can easily make out that he is out of tune and missing the human emotional component. Yet it still saddens him the thought of what he is about to do. Kayla emerges and hits the clone on the back of the head with a rock. The pair then try to drown the clone so that it can't signal the others, but it still manages to before it finally drowns. Zach and Kayla make it to the cable station, where they encounter Zach's double. Before it can kill Zach, Kayla saves him and jams the door. They get to the server room and shut the door before uploading all of their footage to the servers. They successfully upload the videos and then kiss. Zach and Kayla's clones come banging on the door. Seeing that the room contains a carbon dioxide extinguisher system, Zach comes up with a plan. He tells Kayla to find the part of the video where she is on screen while he finds footage of himself on the adjacent monitor. They play the footage and hold their breaths while Zach sets off the extinguisher. He opens the door and then hides before the clones get in. The clones look around the room and then go to the monitors, touching on the screens, trying to absorb their memories. Zach and Kayla escape while their doppelgangers are distracted. The clones then pass out and die after a while. Zach and Kayla blend in with the crowd before escaping into the woods. They go to the cabin and reunite with Joey. However, they see on TV that the clones have infiltrated every single city and have taken over the world. Zach and Kayla realize their town was actually the last to be assimilated, not the first. Scattered survivors begin replying to their online video to organize a resistance.